Luigi's Mansion is such a spooky game. Well, it's as spooky as a rated E for everyone game could be. But still, the game has a fair amount of dark ambience and spookiness to make you kind of go, a dark mansion full of ghosts, dead babies, and talking portraits? And while all of that is pretty creepy for a Nintendo game, the true horror of Luigi's Mansion lies beneath the surface. Does that make sense? I don't think so. Anyway, back to the creepy music. There's a lot of questions left unanswered in Luigi's Mansion, along with a few things that maybe you never thought about. Things that may uncover the dark truth of this mansion. So today, we're going to look at a few possible creepy theories surrounding Luigi's Mansion. Woohoo! Sounds like fun! The first theory we're going to talk about revolves around something pretty scary. The Poltergust 3000! Ah! You vacuum cleaner? Oh wait, no, that's not too scary. But the possible story behind it kind of is. The Poltergust 3000 was a weapon created by Professor E. Gadd to defend yourself from ghosts by sucking them up. And while at first glance, it may just seem to be another random piece of technology, it's possible that the Poltergust itself is actually alive. Some kind of living entity, a creature of sorts, that feeds off of souls. Or in this case, the ghosts. Every other minor ghost you find throughout the mansion straight up gets eaten and devoured by the Poltergust. It's why the ghosts always panic and start to freak out when you start sucking them up. They don't really want to get metaphysically digested by this soul eater. Not that one. And let's not forget, the Poltergust was invented by Dr. E. Gadd, who also invented the Flood from Super Mario Sunshine. And if you recall, the Flood pretty much had a mind of its own, being able to show emotion and communicate. So if the Flood was pretty much a living being, why not the Poltergust? Just being a little more demonic. That idea, however, is a little more wacky and fun than it is scary. So, let's talk about a few creepy ideas behind Luigi's Mansion, such as Chauncey, the baby you encounter early on in the game. Now, a ghost baby in and of itself is kind of freaking terrifying. Heck, I remember when I first played the game and encountered him, I was like, hey, am I interrupting? Sorry! However, Chauncey's bio says that he was born as a ghost, but that's not how things really work. Especially since his parents, Lydia and Neville, the two adult parent ghosts you encounter before Chauncey, were once alive and once human, who have since passed on. Meaning that Chauncey must have died when he was just a baby, or even more messed up, saying that he was born as a ghost is a very clever way of saying that he died in the womb of his mother, never seeing the mortal world, only knowing this ghost realm. But that's kind of super depressing, and Nintendo would never, ever, ever let that fly. Realistic death is kind of a reoccurring theme with this game, such as the possible theory that Luigi himself commits suicide during the events of this game.
I don't like where this is going.
This is a more well-known piece of trivia, and is more of a weird and unsettling Easter egg of sorts. I don't know. I'm not too sure how to explain it. If you travel to the telephone room on the top floor of the mansion, you'll quickly notice that it's pretty dark up there, with the main source of light being when the phone rings. And when you answer this phone, lightning will strike, and the room gets more visible. This room then reveals a very disturbing secret, a shadow of Luigi. But this shadow seems different from whatever Luigi is actually doing. The shadow looks like he's hanging himself. possibly leading to the idea that Luigi has died, and this mansion is some form of hell. Or something. I don't know, it's not true. So don't worry. It's just weird that this exists. Hey, why are you like this?
光と影が明暗を分けるかつてない冒険任天堂ゲームキューブルイージマンション
And there's still a ton of creepy and weird things going on in this mansion. For example, Bogmire. What is he? Every single portrait ghost that you encounter in this game has some sort of human or animal looking feature, like, oh yeah, that was definitely a human at some point, or, yup, doggo. But what is Bogmire? This weird, melted creature. He's the only portrait ghost that doesn't resemble something that was once alive. So, what exactly is he? Why are you weird? You weirdo. And then there's the doors. Why do they shut on their own and get pointy? Stupid doors. How about this scene? This is genuinely a creepy moment, and still freaks me out today. The darkness, the eerie music, the shaking portraits, and there's even a voice that says, "Here they come." But who says it exactly? None of these portraits say it. It's a voice that we never ever find out about. But what is the true horror of Luigi's mansion? What's the scariest thing that Luigi encounters in this game? It's the possibility of losing his brother. That's the scariest thing in this entire mansion. We're all so focused on the ghosts and the death surrounding the mansion that we've forgotten the true horror of this game. Luigi losing the most important person in his life. That's the scariest thing anyone will ever have to confront. Honestly, think about it. The man who's been protecting Luigi, being there for him, being his best friend, his brother. Mario has always been the one to protect Luigi, and has possibly saved his life who knows how many times. But now the roles are reversed, and it's up to Luigi to save Mario. And despite being so afraid of all the ghosts and hauntings, the one thing that truly horrifies Luigi is his brother's safety, and he'll stop at nothing to make sure he's safe. The ghosts, the paranormal phenomena, even the possibility of Luigi himself not making it out of this mansion alive, doesn't matter. He's determined to get back his brother. You know, there's kind of a lesson in all of this. Life is scary. There's a lot of scary things you're going to encounter eventually. And no matter where you look, it's just going to be one thing after another. You're naturally just going to be afraid. But there's always something in your life worth fighting for. Maybe someone worth fighting for. We all have it. And once we know what that something is, it's always going to be worth fighting for. Even in the face of all this fear, because we can't imagine our life without that one thing. What or whoever it might be. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be the biggest scaredy cat of all time. But it's also important to know when to face all of your fears head on, because it's worth it. And I mean, hey, if Luigi can do it, I know you can too.